Hello everybody. I'm continuing to work on my stained glass project, and the next step is to apply copper foil. I have a roll of copper foil here. It's 7/32 of an inch wide, and one side has adhesive to adhere to the glass, and it's got paper backing, so as you go you peel the paper backing off. I've got it on a hook on the edge of the workbench. That works out pretty well. So I just start with end of the copper foil. Now it's important for your hands to be clean and for the glass to be very clean. I've wiped all these pieces off after I've cleaned them with some isopropyl rubbing alcohol. That does a nice job of getting these surfaces nice and clean. So you pick a part to start with. Generally speaking, you want to start on a corner that's going to be inside, so where you overlap is not exposed to the outside of the piece. So you kind of judge. It's important to try and get it even on both sides of the glass, and once you get it started, you just go around the edge, trying to keep it centered. I'm not real good at doing this. And you continue around. There are machines and hand tools for applying copper foil, but for the most part I find this is about as good as I can do. I continue with that. We'll get into the beginning where we started. So we'll get to the very beginning, and you leave a little overlap where it begins and ends. Now we'll cut the edge off. That allows a little overlap. Then the next step, and this is also important, is you want to make sure every part of the tape is adhered to the glass. And then you start folding the copper foil down over the sides of the glass. You get to a corner, you just make a nice square corner. Continue around. And once it's all pushed down along the sides, you begin to burnish it. You can do it with a variety of tools. This is a stained glass tool. It's called a FID. I don't know why it's called a FID, but I start rubbing the edges, making sure this foil is stuck all the way down on top of the surface, on this edge, all the way around. Then when I'm done with that, I put it on this, and I begin smoothing down the surface of the foil on the sides of the glass. Both sides. Should be very smooth, and burnishing this, rubbing it like this, also tends to clean the surface, excuse me, for when you're going to solder. It's important to have clean copper to solder to. I'll check this side. And if you notice, I haven't got this thing centered particularly well, but it'll be okay. If it's way off center, you can always remove the foil and try again. I'm not going to try again because I don't think I can do much better. So this is coming together fairly nicely. I don't see any lumps or bubbles. Try this side again. That looks pretty good. I'm going to go around the edge once more. It's hard to see in the video probably, but you can tell when this foil is on the surface well. There should be there shouldn't be any ridges when you rub your fingers around this. It should be very, very smooth and even. Okay, so now that was the last piece for this duck. So now I'm going to move this piece. Let me see if you can see that. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And what I've got, this is a pattern for the duck, which I used to make the cardboard pattern pieces. I've got it on my soldering workboard, which is just an old piece of ceiling tile. It makes a nice surface to solder to. Now I'm going to put all the pieces on the pattern where they belong and see how they fit up. That was backwards. Now, if you can see, let me see if this shows. I'll move this, get a little closer view if I can. Move the camera a little bit. Now, I don't know whether you can see that very well or not, but this all is fit pretty well. There are a few, it's a little bit of space between the pieces. Now actually, that's a good thing, because when you solder, you want the solder to go down in between where the pieces meet, because that's what bonds the pieces together. So, this has all been foiled, it's ready to solder. The next video I'll show you how I solder. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.